heard? Zhang Laoshi had just competed with the academy's #1 teacher from the bottom, teacher Zhang Xuan. They competed? Then, won't Zhang Laoshi lose for sure? Unexpectedly, that wasn't so. Zhang Laoshi won. He casually guided a student, and made his strength increase by 1-fold. Increase by 1-fold? In his first guidance? Even Liu Laoshi wouldn't be capable of doing that. Are you for real? A lot of people witnessed it for themselves, so how could it not be real? Those who witnessed the competition in the canteen are discussing over it excitedly. For the student's strength to increase by 1-fold in the first guidance? Zhao Ya scoffs. It is definitely just luck. Beiyu City is the third biggest city in the Tongzuan Kingdom, and Zhao Ya is the daughter of its city lord. From young, she has been put through top-class education, and her motive for coming to Hongtian Academy is to be accepted as Liu Xun's student. However, she didn't expect to hear that Liu Xun would be inferior to Zhang Xuan before she even found him. Naturally, she doesn't believe such rumors. Luck? I don't think that it is luck. After all, it is an increase by an entire fold. Just luck itself won't explain it. A student sitting not too far away from her couldn't help but respond to her words. You think that it isn't luck? Don't think that I do not recognize that Zhang Laoshi. He is the one who scored a 0 in the teacher qualification examination and almost got fired. What capabilities do you think a guy like that would possess? If you do not believe my words, I can unmask his facade right here and now. Zhao Ya has had an impatient personality since young. Upon hearing someone praise the worst teacher in the academy, she immediately bellows. Fine. We also want to know whether the teacher is just all talk. Instantly, 2 students stand up. The 3 of them walked out of the canteen, and after asking around, they found Zhang Xuan's classroom. Pushing open the door, they walked in. You are Zhang Laoshi? Walking into the classroom, they see the young man sitting on the teacher's seat smiling foolishly to himself. No matter how they look like it, he doesn't seem like an impressive teacher. In fact, they started to feel uncomfortable. That's me. After noticing the entry of a few students, Zhang Xuan stopped analyzing the Library of Heaven's Path, and turns over to look at them. We've heard that you have won in a competition against Zhang Laoshi, and the student you guided had an increase in strength by 1-fold. Zhao Ya states with clear disbelief in her tone. Good. Then I would like you to guide me as well, to see whether you can increase my strength by 1-fold as well. I'm not free. Zhang Xuan waves them away. Teachers also have their own pride as educators. They aren't performers who would perform to the will of the audience. How could they just guide others just because they want them to? Besides that, what's with your attitude? It's not like I owe you something. Not free? Aren't you very idle right now? Zhao Ya could tell that the other party is just trying to shake her off. She grinds her teeth in anger. She told her friends that she would come and expose his facade, yet right now, she is being chased away without even getting a glimpse at his abilities. She feels embarrassed. I have to recruit students. I don't have the effort to fool around with an arrogant little girl. Zhang Xuan says calmly. You. Zhao Ya is so furious that her beautiful eyes roll around. She is the daughter of a city lord, not to mention she is blessed with good looks. No matter where she goes, people look at her with eyes of admiration. However, not only did this fellow reject her, he even said that she was fooling around. How hateful! Even if he is a teacher, this is unforgivable. What must we do for you to guide us? Grinding her jade-like teeth, Zhao Ya questions. Acknowledge me as your teacher. Zhang Xuan replies calmly, as he looks at Zhao Ya with a bizarre expression. Seeing how the other party is looking at her as though she is an idiot, Zhao Ya staggers. Fine, I will acknowledge you as my teacher. However, if you were to teach me erroneously or give me bullshit, I will expose your lies. Zhao Ya. You can't. If you were to take him as your teacher, you won't be able to become Liu Xunlaoxi's student. The two friends who came with her almost fainted upon hearing her acceptance of his request. They immediately tried to persuade her. Hearing the persuasion of her two friends, Zhao Ya hesitates. She is aware of the school rules. After becoming a teacher's student, if the student wants to acknowledge another teacher, they would have to first withdraw from the lessons of their current one. However, if they were to do so, the other teacher would tend to reject the student. Not to mention, a popular teacher like Liu Xun. You don't have the guts to? If you don't dare to, just hurry up and leave. Don't hold up my business. Recruiting new students. Zhang Xuan waves her away. Who says that I do not have the guts to? She was still hesitating, but upon hearing Zhang Xuan's words, Zhao Ya immediately explodes. Her eyebrows frown and she says, I will acknowledge you as my teacher right now. Let's verify our relationship. Your attitude is too bad. Even you want me as your master, I don't want to accept you. Zhang Xuan waves her away yet again. It is natural to want to recruit obedient students, just like the previous Wang Ying. However, the current one seems to be on gunpowder. Even if he lacks student, he is unwilling to admit her in. You. She didn't expect that when she chose to bear with it, to acknowledge him as her teacher, he still refused to accept her. Zhao Ya can feel flames arising from her. She came here specially to expose his fraud. If she were to stomp away furiously now, wouldn't she be falling into his trap? Perhaps this fellow is intentionally trying to chase her away so that his fraud cannot be exposed. She is adamant to not allow things go his way. HMPH, I will just admit it as my fault first then. After I expose your true face, see how I will put you in place. Thinking so, Zhao Ya suppresses the rage in her heart. She smiles faintly, exposing her white teeth. Teacher, don't get angry. I was disrespectful. I sincerely wish to become your student. May I plead with you to accept me? This is more like it. Seeing her change in attitude, Zhang Xuan nods his head. I can accept you as my student. Before that, I would like you to clean this room. I don't want to see a speck of dust here. Also, help me tidy up the washroom outside. Scrub the toilet bowls clean. Afterward, I will check on it. If I am satisfied with your work, I will admit you in under my tutelage. Don't go too far. Zhao Ya is about to go on a rampage. What is her identity? She is the daughter of a city lord, a daughter of a noble. From young, she has never done any household chore before, and yet this fellow intends for her to sweep the room? Even cleaning the washrooms? Scrub the toilet bowls? Is he insane? If you can't even do such superficial tasks, you can leave right now. I don't need lazy and useless students. Zhang Xuan says. Little lass. You want to play with me? You are still much too inexperienced. Who says that I am useless? I will clean up now, I will scrub now. Zhao Ya grinds her. Grabbing a broom and mop, she starts to tidy up the room. Zhao Ya, how about we just forget about it? I don't think he is really capable. He is purposely making things hard for you. The two friends who tagged along with her, upon seeing the young mistress of a city lord starting to clean up the place, they are all horrified and quickly attempt to convince her otherwise. Both of you wait outside first. Since young, I, Zhao Ya, have never really lost before. Today, I have decided to go all out against him. Zhao Ya frowns. That her two friends understand Zhao Ya's temper. Seeing that she can't be persuaded, the both of them look at each other, at a loss of what to do. Inform Butler Yao, didn't he come as well? If the butler were to know that the fellow, who scored 0 for his teacher qualification examination, was ordering young mistress to scrub the toilet bowl, he would definitely stop him. After staring at each other for a moment, one of them came up with a solution. For a person of Zhao Ya's identity, even though there weren't any threats on the journey to the academy, there was still someone who escorted her. The person who escorted her was Butler Yao. Presently, he should still be around the academy. All right, let's look for him now. Without any hesitation, the two of them immediately rush out of the academy. For Zhao Ya, who has a stubborn temper just like any other daughters of rich households, even though she has never done household chores before, it didn't take her long to adapt to it. Swiftly, the interior of the room became clean. Even the washroom outside is sparkling. Not bad. Zhang Xuan nods his head in satisfaction. You should be satisfied now. You can admit me as your student and guide my cultivation now, right? After finishing her work, Zhao Ya crushes her teeth together. Whoa. Her jade-like face distorts as she tries to hold herself back from punching the guy in front of her. Your identity card. Disregarding the other party's murdering gaze, Zhang Xuan throws a jade token to her casually. Taking a deep breath, Zhao Ya drips a drop of blood on it, verifying their relationship. Zhang Laoshi, now that I can your student, can you give me a pointer or two? Now that she is on the verge of accomplishing her objective, revealing the true face of the despicable man before her, Zhao Ya suppresses the excitement in her heart and asks. Display fighting technique to me first, so that I can gauge your fundamentals. Zhang Xuan beckons. Yes. Without any nonsense, Zhao Ya clasps her hands together and bows before executing her skills. Ha. The wind howls. Her blow is full of might. As a female as well, her blows are much faster and stronger than Wang Ying. With a single look, it is apparent that she put quite a bit of effort into her training. While looking at Zhao Ya execute her skill, Zhang Xuan's mind is currently in the library. As expected, with a light tremor, a book falls from the shelves. The two words Zhao Ya are written on the cover. Zhao Ya, the daughter of the city lord of Baiyi City. Fighter 1 Danjugzi Realm Pinnacle. Cultivation technique, white jade pure maiden skill. Weakness, 27 flaws. Number 1, her personality is rash and she is easily angered. This goes against the white jade skill's nature of calmness and smoothness, so she is unable to bring out its full strength. Number 2. The book is just like what he saw previously. It records all of the flaws and deficiencies in Zhao Ya's cultivation. Peng. After a short moment, Zhao Ya completes the entire punch routine. Clenching her feminine hands, she turns around and sends a blow towards the rock pillar in the classroom, that is used for measuring the strength of one's blow. A crisp sound. A set of number appears on it. 110. Not bad. Zhang Xuan can't help but nod his head. To be capable of wielding such strength in her fist, before coming to the academy, Zhao Ya is indeed the daughter of a city lord, holding extraordinary strength. All right, give me some pointers. After executing her skill, her face doesn't turn red nor does she gasp for breath. Zhao Ya turns to look at Zhang Xuan. Seeing what that has to be done, Zhao Ya is ready to see the fellow, before her make an embarrassment out of himself. Suddenly, an idea comes to mind and a record crystal appears in her sleeves. Record crystal, it is an object capable of recording video and audio in its surrounding. She intends to use it as evidence of Zhang Xuan's wrongdoing. This way, he would be unable to talk his way out of it when she spreads word about his crime. Let's see how you would be humiliated then. To think that you would dream of competing with Liu Yang, dream on. Upon the thought that she would be able to grab hold of evidence on him soon, to punish him and vent her frustration, Zhao Ya's eyes glitter and she almost failed to control her laughter, suppressing her happiness, just as she was waiting to see what nonsense the other party would come up with. A pair of clear eyes reminiscent of lanterns appear right in front of her. Ah! Zhao Ya leaps in shock and backs away hurriedly. Only then did she realize that it is Xuanhuan. She grinds her teeth in anger and exclaims, "What are you doing? Relax, I am just taking a look." With his hands behind him, he circles around Zhao Ya, shaking his head. Then, he suddenly stops before Zhao Ya with less than 1 kai between them. That is 33.3 centimeters. She can feel the warmth from his body. Zhao Ya's face blushes. From young, there hasn't been a single man who has been in such proximity with her. Her heart beats furiously. Then, she hears an unhurried voice saying, "You are sick." Hearing those words, Zhao Ya almost erupts and faints on the spot. "You are the one that is sick, your entire family is sick." She is on the verge of going crazy. What's wrong with this fellow's brain? She executed a set of martial arts for him, to point out the flaws in them. Instead, this fellow says that she is sick. How can such a vile person exist in the world? Why did you start hurling insults? Zhang Xuan frowns. Soon, he understands what other meanings his words could hold and smiles faintly. "I am saying that your body is sick, I am not insulting you." "I am not sick." Zhao Ya humphs coldly. "In my opinion, you are the one who is sick. Something is wrong with your brain." She is as strong as an ox. A single fist of hers has a strength of more than 100 kilograms behind it. She is very clear on the fact whether she is sick or not. Don't refute my words first. Do you often feel a vague pain in your dancehong and jujiku point? Especially on the night of a full moon, when the humid wind blows, a faint red tinge will appear on your body and you will like. At this point, Zhang Xuan hesitates for a moment, as though it is difficult to verbalize it out. He continues, "No matter how you train, you feel like your heart won't calm down." Dancehong is an acupoint in the center of an horizontal line that passes through your 2 nipples. Juj is just below the center of your rib cage. How? How did you know? The furious Zhao Ya had intended to refute every word that the other party would say directly, but after hearing those words, her face turns red and she stupefies. It isn't that the words he said are incorrect, but they are simply too correct. Recently during training, she would feel a faint pain in her dancehong and juj, although she would just bear it since the pain isn't severe. The crux of the problem is that on the night of a full moon, when the cold wind blows, her body would turn weird. A strong desire would surge through her body as it turns red. Unable to suppress her raging emotions, she would find herself craving the embrace of a man. She is just a 16 to 17-year-old young lady, who has yet to undergo the matrimony of human bodies, so she was unable to tell what that emotion is. She only feels embarrassed by it. Initially, she thought that she could just bear with it and it would pass. However, these feelings became more and more intense. As her body develops and her chest becomes more and more fleshed out, she felt those tendencies getting more and more uncontrollable. In the past, she could deal with it with just 2 circulations of her cultivation technique. But now, even 10 times wasn't enough for the urges to subside. She could only halt with her training until the sun rises. As this affair is really too bizarre, she doesn't dare to tell anyone about it. Even her best friends and her city lord father is kept in the dark, despite it being a matter no one knows about. How did this fellow find out about it? It is also due to her being unable to bear it that she came to the academy in a hope to find the crux of the problem and solve it once and for all. "I am a teacher. I could tell from the punch routine you executed just now. Zhang Xuan replies calmly. Of course, it is impossible to tell this much through looking at one's punch routine. The Library of Heaven's Path is an extraordinary treasure. As long as she possesses flaws, even if these flaws have nothing to do with her skills, it would be recorded in it. Exactly because he had seen her problems, that's why Zhang Xuan had a bizarre look on his face. Is there a solution? Zhao Ya clenches her jaws and asks with a reddened face. After she was so resolute to expose the fraud of the party, she ended up having her problems exposed by him in an instant. It made her feel embarrassed. There's a method to resolving it. Come to class tomorrow and I will explain it to you. Zhang Xuan gestures with his hands. Really? Zhao Ya's eyes light up in disbelief. She is very aware of the problems in her body. Due to her inability to control those raging desires, it caused her become irritable and impatient in everything she does. Initially, she thought she could only conceal this matter in her heart, and that there is no way to solve this problem. However, never would she ever dream that this teacher, who is the last in the entire academy, would be able to uncover it in just a few words. Furthermore, he has a solution to treat it. If you don't trust me, you can look for other teachers in the academy. Zhang Xuan flings his hand with an indifferent expression, the look of an expert. No, no. Teacher, you are the only one. Zhao Ya hurriedly nods her head. It hasn't been just a day or two since the start of her suffering. Countless physicians in the city couldn't tell what is wrong with her. Even her father, City Lord Zhao, wasn't able to tell that there is something amiss with her. Yet, this Zhang Xuan Lao she could tell with just one look. Just comparing their eyes of discernment, none of these people could compete with him. That is exactly the reason why she thinks that he would have a way to treat her problem. That record crystal, do you still intend to keep it? Zhang Xuan points at her sleeves. Ah. Zhao Ya is horrified. Only now does she recall the record crystal she intentionally left behind so as to get evidence on him. If the contents of the conversation were to leak out, how can she continue to walk with her head held up high? I don't. Exerting some force with her palm, Kecha, the record crystal is reduced to dirt. After destroying the crystal, Zhao Ya glances at Zhang Laoshi once again. This time, his face doesn't look so hateful. Rather, it is an enigmatic face. Despite concealing the record crystal so discreetly, she still got caught. Not to mention, the problems with her body were exposed by him. How could someone of such capabilities score a 0 on the teacher qualification examination? He must be indifferent to fame and reputation, apathetic to the views of outsiders. I have heard that experts are all like that. When this idea appears in her head, Zhang Xuan's position in her heart evolves from a swindler to one of the top experts in the world. Take your identity token to claim your bedding and your books. Also, look for your lodging while you're at it. We shall start lessons punctually tomorrow. Seeing that another student has been reeled, Zhang Xuan waves his hand as he passes down instruction to her. Suddenly, a loud roar can be heard from the outside and in a flash, a human figure rushes in. Who? The person who entered is middle-aged. He carries a ferocious aura with him as he enters into the classroom. From a single look, one can tell that he isn't weak. Young mistress. After entering the door, the middle-aged man stops and bows to Zhao Ya. Uncle Yao, why are you here? Zhao Ya stares at him blankly. This isn't anyone else but the butler from Baiyi City, whom her two friends went to invite, Yao Han. Just as he was about to leave after sending Zhao Ya to the academy, her two friends rushed over to inform him that the young mistress wants to acknowledge the fellow who scored a 0 on the teacher qualification examination as her teacher, and that he even ordered the young mistress to scrub the toilet bowls. Hearing those words, Butler Yao Han almost exploded on the spot. Young mistress, the apple of the eye of the city lord. At home, no one dares to order her around. To dare to get her to sweep the floor and scrub the toilet bowls. He is too audacious. If this fellow is one of the more reputable teachers in the academy, he could drop the matter, since they tend to be pickier. The crux of the problem is that this fellow was the last in the teacher qualification examination, not to mention he even drove a person berserk. How can the young mistress study under someone like that? Even in the city, the people who guided her, even if casually, are much stronger than this person over here. Young mistress, are you? Staring coldly at Zhang Xuan, Yao Han quickly glances at the young mistress. I have already acknowledged Zhang Xuan as my teacher, Zhao Ya declares. Running here with his full strength, he didn't think that he would still be a step too slow. Yao Han's face darkens as he pulls Zhao Ya to his back. He stares at Zhang Xuan coldly. Quickly withdraw our young mistress from your tutelage. Then, apologize. Otherwise, when I blow this matter up, everyone will know that you bewitched an underage lady, as a teacher to get her to come under your tutelage. Bewitched an underage lady? Isn't your use of phrase a little too much? Zhang Xuan shakes his head. If others were to hear such words, they would think that he had done something towards Zhao Ya. The heavens can serve as his witness, that all he has done was to accept as student. It is an extremely pure action. Don't play around with me. The young mistress of our family is a talented genius. She isn't someone a person of your qualification can teach. If you were to remove her from your lessons now, I can choose to just let this pass. Otherwise, I will definitely bring this up to the principal and have you fired. Yao Han howls. However, before he could finish his words, Zhao Ya interrupts him from his back. Uncle Yao, what are you doing? I have acknowledged Zhang Xuan as my teacher of my own free will. Why are you causing trouble for me? Zhao Ya stomps her feet. The reason why she came to the academy was to solve the problem with her body. She is still happy over the fact that the teacher, before her, assured her that he would be able to help her, and yet this fellow here comes to mess it up. What the heck is he doing? Of your own free will? Yao Han glances at the young mistress. Do you think that he can really give you guidance that would allow your strength to surge? The young mistress is a proud person, he knows that well. Could it be that this teacher, who is reputed as trash, is able to guide her? That's why she acknowledged him. Allow my strength to surge? That he didn't do. Zhao Ya shakes his head. The other party only pointed out her illness, he didn't guide her on her cultivation. No? Then Yao Han is baffled. All right, Uncle Yao, stop asking. Recalling her own illness, Zhao Ya's face turns red. Seeing the young mistress behaving like that, Yao Han stares blankly in confusion. Then, when he sees the shattered record crystal on the floor, his face turns frosty and in a split moment, he seems to have turned into a rampaging lion. You darn brat, what did you do to our young mistress? Did you think that I wouldn't dare to kill you right now? Boom! In his rage, a powerful aura surges forth and the wind howls Jia, the ground creaks in agony, as though it is unable to bear the heavy pressure.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never